Habari! 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 Brothers and sisters, we're going to get started because we are live on social media and we can't have dead space. So I imagine the rain may have gotten to some people tonight, and perhaps they are on the way. For those who are viewing via social media and those who are here, we're here to celebrate the second night of Kwanzaa, Kujichagulia, to name for ourselves, define ourselves, to speak for ourselves, and to create for ourselves. For those who have not been here before and celebrated Kwanzaa with us, when I say Habaragani, which is a part of a word that means what's the news, what's going on, what's happening, your response is the principle for tonight, for the night, and the principle for tonight is Kujichagulia. In the same fashion that I give it to you, I want you to give it back to me. If I say Habaragani, then I want you to say Kujichagulia. But if I give it you some vim and vigor vitality, I want you to give it back to me. Habaragani! 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 All right, we're going to get started. We're going to, first of all, I'm going to ask everyone to stand. And before we do our libation, we want to pledge to the red, black, and green. This is an allegiance to the red, black, and green, which I coined in 1980. We've been reciting this for 47 years. We've been practicing Kwanzaa here at the temple for 47 years. And in 1980, a few years after we started celebrating Kwanzaa, the Creator gave me these words to the red, black, and green. I want you to put your fist over your heart, and I want you to repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the red, black, and green, our flag, the symbol of our eternal struggle, and to the land we must obtain, one nation of black people, totally united in the struggle for black love, black freedom, and black self-determination. Habaragani! Please remain standing. Brother James is going to lead us in our Negro National Anthem. I mentioned to you on last evening that one of my mentors, Dr. Howard Thurman, who was a student at Morehouse College at the time, some benefactors came, philanthropists came to make donations to Morehouse. And before they made that donation, they asked of them to sing the Negro National Anthem. And to a student, without any prompting whatsoever, they refused to sing because that song meant so much to them. And in that same spirit and vein tonight, it is my prayer and hope that the words of this song penned by James Weldon Johnson will have that same meaning to you. As he leads us, I'm going to ask everybody to join in and sing together as he leads. Lift every voice and sing.
Lift every
Voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Slowly the road we trod bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days
when hope
unborn had died, yet with the steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We have come in the path of the slaughtered, out of the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, during the work of the right gleam is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far along the way, thou who hast by thy mind led us unto the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places of God where we met thee, lest our hearts drunk with the wine of the world we forget thee, shadowed beneath thy hand. May we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land. Habagani! Y'all sound mighty weak out there. Habagani! Habagani! Please stand one more time, please, brothers and sisters. We're going to pour a libation on tonight. Libation is the drinking or the pouring of a liquid in remembrance of and calling to the assistance of us, our ancestors, as we pour this libation tonight. We want to, there are several names I want to lift up. I want to lift up Baba Barashango, who started with us way back in 1960s when we began to celebrate Kwanzaa, and Brother Oduno Tariq, Brother Money Maulana Helton, all of these brothers who were pioneers here in Washington, D.C. in our celebration of Kwanzaa, and those others that you would like to have remembered and called to our assistance as we pour this libation tonight. In this bowl, we have some very significant soils. We have soil in this bowl from the slave dungeons at Goree Island and also from Elmina in Ghana in West Africa. We have soil in this bowl from the Gambia, West Africa, where we were ordained as a Wolof priest in 1980. There's soil in this bowl from Ghana, West Africa, where we were installed as a sub-chief in 1992. There is soil in this bowl from the slave plantation in Oxford, North Carolina, where my ancestors were slaves before they found their physical freedom from slavery there in North Carolina. We have celebrated our 92nd anniversary of family reunions, which they started in 1932. The scriptures say we came from the dust of the earth, and to the earth we must return. That speaks to the fact that we have two natures. We are physical, fleshly, earthly human beings, but we are also divine, heavenly, godly, spiritual beings. That bifurcation speaks to the fact that there are two aspects to our nature. The scriptures say we came from the dust of the earth physically. To the earth we must return. But because God deposited, the Creator deposited in us a little piece of himself in every one of us. And that, since our last check, the Creator cannot die, and so then we cannot die. So then pouring into these soils is a symbol of reawakening the spirits of our ancestors, those who've gone before us, who paved the way for us and give us this opportunity to build on what they left for us. As I pour this libation, I'd ask that you call aloud the names of those you'd like to remember and call to our sisters on tonight. Call those names aloud now. Yo. I can't hear nobody. Bye. Yo. Oh. All right, let us pray. Baba yetu uliye mbinguni, jina lako tukuzwe, ufalme wako uje, mapenzi wako yatimizwe, kama duniani kama huko mbinguni. Utupe leo riziki yetu, utumasewo wa deni zetu, kama sisi nasi tuwasamehewo wa deni yetu, na usitutie majaribuni, lakini tuokoe na yule mwovu, kwa kuwa ufalme ni wako, na nguvu, na utukufu hata milele. Amen. Habari gani? One more time before you sit down, we're going to sing one of these old songs here. We've been singing this as well since 1947. Kwanzaa, repeat after me. Kwanzaa is a holiday. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa is an African holiday. 7 principles, 7 candles, 7 black days for the African. Kwanzaa is a holiday. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa is an African holiday. 7 principles, 7 candles, 7 black days for the African. All right, we're ready to sing now. It's very simple, so most of you know it. Let's go. Kwanzaa is a holiday. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa is an African holiday. 7 principles, 7 candles, 7 black days for the African. Hey, Kwanzaa is a holiday. Hey, Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa is an African holiday. 7, put your hands together. 7 candles, 7 black days for the African. Hey, Kwanzaa is a holiday. Hey, Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa is an African holiday. Hey, principles. Hey, 7 black days for the African. Come on, swing. Hey, Kwanzaa is a holiday. Hey, Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa. 7 principles, 7, hey, 7 black days for the African. Hey, Kwanzaa is a holiday. Hey, hey. Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa is an African holiday. 7 principles, 7 candles. Hey, 7 black days for Africa. Abagani! Abagani! You may be seated, brothers and sisters. As we move forward on tonight, we're going to have our candle lighting at this time. Sister Deacon Maya and Rita Daniels are going to lead us in our candle lighting. Just before they come, let me briefly go over the symbols of Kwanzaa. Incidentally, that song, Brother Maulana Karinga, who is the creator of the Kwanzaa celebration, came here several years ago, and he had not heard that song that we had put together, and he said, I'm going back to California, and I'm going to teach them this song. So we have been about innovation and history making for a long time here at the temple, the pledge to the red, black, and green, and then the songs that we have created over the years. The principles of Kwanzaa, we start, of course with the mkeka. Everybody say Mkeka. Mkeka. I don't hear everybody say Mkeka. Straw mat. That's the foundation. We have to have a foundation at these critical times. I chose a theme for this week's Kwanzaa based on Dr. Martin Luther King's book. He went to Ocho Rios just a few months before his assassination. He wrote the book, Where Do We Go From Here, Chaos or Community? From that, we made our theme for this week, Seeing the Chaos. And we got plenty of chaos going on, don't we? And yet seeking community. Question becomes then, even as we practice Kwanzaa, how can we, or should we ask, renew, rededicate, reinvigorate, reinstill those principles and values that have sustained us even to this present moment and at a most critical time in our history, when there are those who have passed laws in 20 different states rejecting the opportunity for our people to know our true history. It becomes critically important for us to understand that we must have a foundation, the same foundation that your great-grandparents and grandparents and other elders had, that made it possible for us to make it through all that we've gone through as a people in this country. So that's the foundation that we stand on. Then we have the muhindi, the ears of corn, which symbolize, if you look at this corn stalk, the kernels on here, if we take those kernels off and we plant them in the ground, then we get some more what? I ain't hear nobody. We get some more what? Corn, that's right. So then, if we have a solid foundation, our offspring, the seeds that are born out of our loins, can come forth with a solid foundation of knowing who they are and whose they are and what their purpose is and what they should be about. Then we have the candle holder we call the Kanara. Everybody say Kanara. Kanara, the candle holder, holding the 7 principles of Mishima, the 7 principles represented by the 7 candles. Then we have the fruits of labor, the mazoa. Everybody say mazoa. And then we have the gifts that we share at Kwanzaa time. This is my latest book, The Birth of the Bible. You want to know the history and the origin of those scriptures that come out of ancient Egyptian texts, the pyramid texts to be exact. When you look at the book of Genesis, the creation story, if you look at the pyramid text of ancient Black Egypt written several thousand years ago, you will find in the exact chronological order and in the exact wording the creation story as recorded, which was incidentally translated. Europeans are wise enough to know that we're so prone to follow everything they say. We can look at something and see they're telling us the truth and not even know it. They didn't say they wrote it. They say they went down into Alexandria, Egypt, and they copied it in the 3rd century. They translated. When you translate something, you take it from one language and you put it in another language. And so these Hellenistic Jews out of Greece went down into Black Egypt, and they translated writings from our people, refined it, rewrote it, and put it in a fashion and gave it back to us in a form that would enslave us instead of free us. And so then, as we look at all of these principles of Kwanzaa, it's about, and the question critically becomes, how do we and can we reignite within us, reestablish, renew, rededicate ourselves to those principles of our foreparents that have sustained us and kept us as a people. So now then, our dear sisters are going to come and lead us in our candle lighting at this time. Would you give them a hand as they come, please? Thank you. Habagani! Bagani!
Good evening, everyone. First, we're going to start by lighting the first candle from yesterday, which was Habaragani Umoja, excellent. And then tonight will be Kujichagulia, very well. Okay. So first candle will be Umoja. Oh, he must have come help.
Is that thing standing up?
The wick. There we go. We have Umoja for unity. And then we're going to do Kujichagulia, meaning, anybody know? Self-determination, excellent. So those are 2 candles for the evening. That's it. Habargani.
Of critical importance to us, brothers and sisters, would you please give them a hand for a candle lighting? Of critical importance to us as a people, when we start talking about Kujichagulia, we cannot define ourselves. We cannot name ourselves. We cannot create for ourselves. We cannot speak for ourselves unless we have knowledge of self. One of the greatest weapons that has been used against us from the time of Constantine, the emperor of Rome, in 325 AD, when the roots of Christianity, which is an African religion, this is something that many of us do not know. Martin Luther King in 1959 wrote a book, or rather a paper, while he was a student at Crozier Theological School. And in that paper, the title of that paper was The Influence of the Mystery Religions on Christianity. I knew that Martin had to have known some of what I know because we had the same mentor, but I'd never heard him talk about it until I spoke up at Howard University in 1989 when I finished speaking. His first cousin, Randall T. Osborne, who at that time was the head of the Martin Luther King Center for Nonviolent Change in Atlanta, Georgia. When I finished speaking, he said, you know, Martin gave a speech just like that in 1958. He said, when I get back to Atlanta, I'm going to send it to you. He got back to Atlanta and he came down with cancer and he died. He never got to send it to me. But in that paper, Martin said it cannot be denied that the roots of Christianity are of African origin and they came from Africa. And of course, his professors tried to dissuade him and made all kinds of excuses why that was the case. But nonetheless, what was instilled in us was a lack of knowledge of self. There's a very great difference between believing that you are a child of God. And I don't mean a child of God on Sunday morning. A lot of us become children of God on Sunday morning. But I mean child of God in terms of understanding your true nature, your true essence as a being created in the very image and the likeness of the Creator. All of us know about the greatness of Egypt, but very few of us, if any of us, know the singular cause of the greatness of Egypt. That singular cause was the knowledge of self. The priest of ancient black Egypt taught every person to say these words, Anuk Asar, I am divine. I am a God with a small g. Don't get it twisted. You are not the God because there's only one God. But you are a little God because God with a small g. Because you're the only creature on this earth was created to resemble the Creator and represent the Creator in the earth. You recall in the scriptures, aside from the misappropriation and the misinterpretation of Scripture, there's one of the many accounts of Jesus and the attempts to assassinate him. And on this particular occasion, they had gathered up some stones and they were hanging around the corner waiting for him to come around. And he peeked around the corner and saw them stacking up stones. He said, what y'all getting ready to do? 10th chapter of John. They said, we getting ready to kill you. He said, why are you getting ready to kill me? He said, because you say that you are, when we see you, we have seen the Father. And the Father is in you. And you are in the Father. He said, he dusted his hands. He said, oh, that's the reason y'all get ready to kill me? Well, you might as well unstack your stones, because did not God say in Psalm 82, verses 4 through 6, ye are all gods. But if you don't know it and you think you're a nigger instead of a God, you will die because of the lack of knowledge of who you are. We go through life. Let me teach about 1.5 minutes and I'll be through with this. We go through life asking the question of what is my purpose? It's simple. Your purpose is your nature, and your nature is your purpose. Everything God created has a nature, and that nature is its purpose. Birds are made to fly, created to fly. So when a bird is in the air, it is in its glory. Take that bird and put it in a cage. It cannot manifest its true nature. It's limited because it needs the air to be able to fly through the air and flap its wings. And when it does that, it is being what its nature, what God created to be. The fish were created to swim in the water. As long as they're in the water, they are wonderfully pleased and happy, and they float around. You take them out of the water, and they got a couple of minutes that flip and flop, and after that, they die because their nature is to swim. We were created to be a reflection of the Creator. But because of the lies that we've been told about who we are and who we are not, we have not understood. And so in order for us to understand these principles and understand what it really means, Kujichagulia, to determine for yourself. You can't determine a thing for yourself if you don't know who you are. If you don't know that you were created to dominate and rule and control your environment and not your environment you. You were created to reproduce. All that the Creator put you here on earth to do. And reproduce, he said, I want you to reproduce everything that I've created you to have and to be in this garden and duplicate it. I want you to be fruitful, produce something. I want you to multiply. I want you to create some other beings just like the being that I created you to be. And then I want you to control the earth. I want you to be in charge. The scripture does not say, let us rule, but let them rule. So it is in that understanding that then once we have knowledge of self, that we are the cream of God's creation. We are the supreme being on the earth, created in the likeness. This is what was taught in ancient black Kemet, which made it possible for them to create the greatest civilization to ever grace this planet. Because they were able to say, I am divine. I am a God. I am like my Creator, which means I share in the attributes of my Creator, which means I can be omnipotent, always possible for me to have power. I can be omniscient, always possible for me to know, and I can be omnipresent. I can be what I was created to be. That's a simple statement, but it's a powerful one that we need to understand and know. Want to raise the spirit just a little bit. I want us to sing this little song. This is an old church song here. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. If you understand principle number 1, umoja, unity, and if you understand principle number 2, we're on 2 tonight, Kujichagulia, to be able to define, name, create and speak for ourselves based on a knowledge of self. This is what Marcus Garvey, this is what Elijah Muhammad, this is what so many others before us, Booker T. Washington, tried to teach us, to let us know who we are and what we can do for ourselves. Booker T said, forget the people. Let your bucket down right where you are. And what did he do? Created millionaires, black men who could not read or write, the potato king of America, who was able to produce over 700,000 bushels of potatoes every year, set up a train so that it ran right through all of that land, the hundreds of acres that he owned, and hired men, black and white, to harvest those potatoes without any formal education, but a knowledge of self and what he could do for himself. And so then we come tonight to share. Now, I have a beautiful brother here tonight who has shared in Kwanzaa on many different occasions. He hadn't done it in recent years, and the Spirit led me to contact him, and we talked on the phone, and he was so delighted that I did call him, and I asked him to come and to share with us on our Kwanzaa celebration on tonight. He's a brand new grandfather. His daughter just had a new child. And I'm going to ask you to put your hands together and receive him at this time, Brother Derek Johnson, who's going to come and share the spoken word. Y'all can do better than that. Give him a big hand, brothers and sisters. Kujichagulia!
Standing here at Union Temple Baptist Church. I was a member here for quite a while. And when Reverend called me, I was elated. So, sir, I thank you. I am so honored to be standing here. You know, it was here that I began a new life. You know, going after the war, starting my life over. And it was here that I created my one-man show that eventually has traveled around the country. I do a one-man show about Malcolm X that's gone to like 4 major cities. And right now, I'm just going to give you a little poetry. Is that all right? I take a lot of pride in keeping alive the legacy of a master teacher. You know, the pathway towards a greater sense of awareness of Minister Malcolm occurred for me in the year 1978. As a 15-year-old kid trying to figure out the world in which I lived. And on this day, I was skipping class, hanging out in my school library, being casually cool, chilling, likely buzzing like most teens back in the 1970s. Can you dig it? When I soon took notice through my peripheral vision of a teacher looking on with suspicion at me, the young man who had spent much more time in the principal's office trying to con my way out of trouble as opposed to being in the library. She then came my way to investigate. And I don't think that she was aware that I knew that she was watching me as I engaged in my first audition of acting by reaching down and picking up a book and start flipping through the pages as I quickly slammed it shut as if I had the wrong book. As I began Act 2 in my performance by reaching down to grab yet another. But this time, my attention was captured by a man wearing jacket and tie and black-rimmed glasses, looking to be engaging large audiences. My curiosity took me below the picture, and it read, Minister Malcolm X. No longer was I faking, but rather fully engaged, frozen in time as I'd forgotten all about the teacher was coming my way. She reached me and began to question me, and simultaneously the bell rang to indicate time for the next class. And before parting ways, she said to me, young man, you make sure you get your butt to class. As I politely replied, yes, ma'am. And when we parted ways, I slipped the book entitled The Life and Times of Malcolm X into my bag, having no idea then that a seed was being planted. I don't believe in coincidence as opposed to the universe having a divine plan. That didn't come into existence until the year 1986 while I served my country overseas as a U.S. Marine. And I've always been one who engaged with those where something of significance can be gained. You see, because if you're the one that everyone turns to for answers, you need new friends. I recall meeting these brothers from the windy city of Chicago who began to school me about the significance of cultural reading, as I was soon reacquainted with Malcolm, as I was given a taped up paperback of the autobiography, as I then began to engage and learn about other black intellectuals such as Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who started Black History Month. And these brothers from Chicago also made me aware of their hometown hero, Chairman Fred Hampton of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party, who was assassinated by our United States government. In 1987, I returned to the States to finish up my military duties, stationed here at home in the DMV, soon discovering another spark of light in AM 1450, where information is power. As I continued on with my cultural education and discovering many others like Ivan Van Sertima, who reminded us that we came before Columbus, who instead of being given credit for discovering America, he ought to be celebrated for putting into motion the most dangerous pandemic that continues to be a cancer that's continually killing America in racism, white supremacy. So in order for America to truly be great for all of its citizens, we must all come together in behalf of our race, and that being humanity, by any means necessary. Thank you. And you know, in my poetry, I try my best to be very authentic, and that was a true story. Sipping class, and I was in my library, and this book that I took was a little small pictorial about Malcolm X that my mother kept, because she said to me many years later when I was in the Marine Corps, I would come home on the weekends every once in a while. She said, "Son, you remember this?" And I did. But I knew she didn't have any idea that I took it from my library. She said, "It was the first time that I actually saw you reading." And I said, "Ma, actually it was the first book that I ever read." Oh yeah. And today I am extremely humbled to be keeping alive Malcolm's legacy. All right. I'm going to read this one from the paper because I just wrote it. Oh yeah. Throughout history, America continues to demonstrate black life don't matter. Hypocrites are those who apply standards to others they refuse to accept themselves. Sounds like America, if you ask me. I'm for truth no matter who tells it. I'm for justice regardless of who it's for or against. I'm a human being first and foremost, and as such, I'm for whoever or whatever benefits humanity as a whole. I believe in the human spirit and how all human beings should be respected as such, regardless of color. Say what you will, but this country has always demonstrated contradictions pertaining to black life in America, from slavery that continues to be the cash cow that made America the superpower that it is today. Reconstruction, where blacks were forced to face the terrorism of trying to achieve our so-called American dream that became a nightmare. Reparations were promised but still never given. Unjust laws and policies, inadequate schools and housing led to racial profiling, police murder, and brutality that continues here today in the 21st century. Mass incarceration of black and brown continues to create wealth in America's new form of slavery. And ever since the large black voter turnout after the election of Barack Obama, our nation's first black president, we've suddenly seen changes in voting, despite there being no problem statistically, like demanding photo IDs, gerrymandering, or in other words, manipulating boundaries in favor of one party or class of people. In Georgia, an historically red Republican state turned blue, has many Republican legislators now trying to put an end to a long-standing tradition of voting at the Sunday church services called Souls to the Poll. Now, where lies the problem, besides trying to disenfranchise the black vote? And this is no theory. And currently we see an egotistically driven leading candidate for president, a modern-day Jim Jones who has many drinking the Kool-Aid. He's long demonstrated his meaning of make America great again, code word white, by reviving his country even further, a pathological liar who has more charges pending against him than ping pong balls in a lottery machine. The first former president charged with several counts of criminal activity, crying wolf as if he did nothing, and inciting the January 6th attack on democracy based on lies that the election was stolen, but presenting no evidence besides his childish rants, resulting in the death of Capitol police officers doing their job trying to protect the United States Capitol from insurrectionists who smashed windows, knocked down doors, sending politicians running in fear of their life across the Senate floor as they threatened to kill our former weak vice president who claimed when he was still in the race, if elected, that he'd pardon the grand wizard who refused to denounce white supremacy. Now just imagine if Obama, despite long being removed from office, was so engaging Mr. Farrakhan. White America would be up in arms. And I say, as did Brother Malcolm, that American democracy is nothing more than hypocrisy. And we, the people, must come together in behalf of our race, and that being humanity. God bless you all. Thank you.
Give Brother Derek another hand, would you?
I have products downstairs. I perform under the banner by any means edutainment, meaning that I use my creative spirit as a means to educate and entertain. I have some of my poems here laminated, and I have 2 books. I'll be downstairs. I thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate you and love you.
Thank you. Give Brother Derek another hand. We're going to hear from our vendors in just a few moments. Usually we have Kwanzaa downstairs at a lower level. It's much more cozy, if you will. But in order for our camera work to be on social media platforms, we have done Kwanzaa up here at this level. But we will hear from, and you will have opportunity to go down and support our vendors before we close out on tonight. Now I have a very special young lady who grew up in the temple. She is now in Cincinnati, Ohio, doing some great work, and she can tell you more about her work. But she did a paper when she was doing her graduate studies, and she gave me a copy of that paper. And when I read it, I recognized quite readily that my teaching has not been in vain, because much of what had been shared through the years came out in that beautiful, powerful paper that she wrote. And she has been the one who, when Mama Takia is here tonight, can you give our Queen Mother a hand, please? All right. Mama Takia told us this year for Kwanzaa that we should, every person bring an heirloom, and she got Asia Bard to kind of write up what she wanted to do so that we could reflect on. Of course, our theme this week is where do we go from here, chaos or community? With all the chaos that we see going on in our community, can we establish a sense of community that we have lost, and that if it's possible that we regain it? One part of that is the saying, the Sankofa, the Adinkra symbol, Sankofa is not a bad thing to reach back into the past. And Mama Takia asked us to bring an heirloom, something from our family that had a special significance. And I'm going to ask Asia Bard to come at this time. She can introduce herself better than I ever could about her work and what she's doing now in Cincinnati, and also then introduce this whole aspect of reaching back. And I think Mama Takia has something that she has, and I brought something that I'm going to share before we finish. Give her a hand, please.
Good evening. And again, thank you for this opportunity, Reverend Wilson, Mama Takia. They always drag me into the fun stuff, we'll say. But I just want to start off again by introducing myself. I'm Asia Bard. You probably know me as Alethea Bard's daughter. Yeah, I'm her. I am currently the manager of program initiatives at the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center in Cincinnati, Ohio, and an adjunct professor. Thank you very much. And kind of what Pastor was saying, it all really begins here, but something I always say to my students or our guests at our museum is that we did not begin our journey in slavery. I'll say that one more time. We did not begin our journey in slavery. And even during that time of oppression and violence, all were not enslaved. Some are free, born in some cases thriving. Some are maroons who created their own societies. And even those who are in bondage found ways to express their humanity and individuality. One of the greatest rebellions was building community and family. Family is not always blood, and family legacies aren't always kept. For so long, our history was oral, told only from elder to child, but sometimes they were also told through items, both of which can be lost. Photographs, dolls, china, postcards, quilts, and stories are treasures, no matter their monetary value or age. Keep those items, create new legacies to pass down, live a life that warrants a story. It does not take a degree or working in a museum to understand, interpret, and share family history. As an early museum and professional and adjunct professor, I have come to recognize that the stories we aim to tell are yours, ours, of everyday people living everyday lives, the true backbones of our society, and therefore our history. I never expected to be a historian. When I went to college, my major was far from the social science field. But the more classes I took, and the more professors who said Black or African history did not fit the class topic, challenged me to show them wrong. As a whole, I would say I turned to the history field because I wanted to learn more about our people, our history, our stories. But my journey began right here at the temple. Hearing our pastors intersect our history to the Bible, lessons learned in womanhood training, and being around my church family inspired me to share our strengths, our triumphs, our truths. And we invite you all, our Union Temple Church family, to do the same this Kwanzaa season. In the tradition of the annual Kwanzaa celebration, as developed and designed by our Senior Pastor Emeritus Willie F. Wilson and our own Queen Mother, Mama Takia Janice Crouch, we invite you all to take part in our Family Chronicle celebration. We ask this Kwanzaa, our church family, to come out each evening and celebrate our families, your families, by displaying familiar objects, trinkets, and legacy items with short histories to share with the Union Temple Baptist Church family. For example, you might bring down a piece of jewelry, a hat that your grandpa wore every day, or a piece of art your aunt made. Just simply bring the item, write down what year it's from, and why it's important to you and your family, because it's important to this family as well. So one of the main examples I would like to talk about, and sorry about the movement, is this doll. This doll is over 100 years old, and it has become a part of my family legacy. Thank you. Even though it was given to me by a non-blood relative, Mama Takia. This was her mother's doll, and again, it's over 100 years old. It used to be made of cloth in the body, but my mom was able to find a doll restorer, which is not easy these days, and bring her back to life, and of course, get her in her favorite color of green. So again, this is a new legacy item that, even though Mama Takia is not technically my grandma, she is, and I will always cherish. And again, you can't put a dollar amount on something so precious. So again, bring your pictures, bring mirrors, cutting boards. We just want to learn from you because you all have a story to tell. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? All right. Could you come quickly?
Hi, I'm Gabrielle Ann, and I came yesterday and I saw your libation. So this is the 10-year anniversary of my first time going to the continent.
Okay.
And I was giving this to you.
Okay.
I brought a bunch of sand back, even though we're not supposed to. I did anyways because I am a little black girl from Phoenix, Arizona. So to go to the continent, and I don't have a earthly father, so I've always felt kind of like lost and wandering. So to put my feet on African soil, I brought it back, and I wanted to give this to the church.
All right.
So happy Kwanzaa.
Hey.
And so I'm gonna lay a couple items out, but the item that I brought was the most important. It's similar to sisters. I lost my sister in 2020, and she went to Howard. My brother went to Howard. I went to Spelman. But I moved here March 15, 2020, and the day I got here, I knew that I was home. And I literally would find markers like the Underground Railroad, things like this, and like to grow up on the West Coast and to know that we're the first peoples, really, of America, right? The first black nation. And I don't know that natives really appreciate that as much because I feel like a lot of y'all are spoiled because you have this. Like, I have never had a Kwanzaa presentation in my church. I'm 37. So I'm like, this is beautiful. And to be able to come home. So I brought my sister's glasses because now everybody is saying that I look like her. And just to have a sister be my pastor and to have so much community, chaos cannot continue. I want us to move towards community, and I've only been a member of the church maybe a month and a half, and I have more community in this month and a half than I've had in 3 years. So,
all right.
Thank you.
Maragani! All right, is there anyone else before we move forward? Okay, Mama Takia, give her a mic, please. Give Mama a mic.
Bargani.
Kujichagulia.
I don't do much speaking today, but I would be doing the wrong thing as far as my family is concerned because there's so many things that I have and I've kept and I've given and made my nieces and nephews aware. But the things that I love is this. That's a cutting board, for you, those of you who don't know. That cutting board was in my uncle's family for 4 or 5 generations. And they cut the board straight from the trees in the family. Be careful. I got the pictures in. I'm sorry. But the cutting board, they made their own cutting board. You can't buy this cutting board because it is made from trees of his ancestors. My uncle would be over 100 years old, and this was you can't make a cutting board more valuable than this, and it's been kept in the family and was given to me. And that was a family member. My uncle put me through nursing school, so I'll never be able to say anything except to honor him. And I want to honor him with this cutting board that I work for.
All right. I brought one tonight, but I'm going to save mine till tomorrow night because we want to move forward here tonight. Have anyone else? We got one more?
She got some pictures.
What's that?
She got some pictures.
Get the picture of my mother. I brought several things because I wanted to make sure we had a lot to talk about tonight.
All right, Mama.
This is a picture of, and I'll hold it up so everybody. This is a picture of my great-great-great-grandmother. And I don't take it out of that frame because it was cracked somehow over the years. And I'm afraid I will you know, ruin it. But that's a picture of my great, it's four greats. And she reminds me, who does she remind you of with that collar at her neck? Anybody? You don't remember? Who? Yes, right. That's right. That's what she wore on her day. And she was in Ohio. She lived in Ohio. Where I came from. And I only want to show you this picture because I want you, the picture that they're holding up is a picture of, that picture is a picture of my mother when she was a baby. And the little girl sitting on the side over here, right here, in the middle, the little baby with the bow in her hair, that's my mother when she was that age. And my mother has, I'm 92, so you know how old that picture is. I just want to share that with you all.
All right, thank you, Mama. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Brothers and sisters, this is a fixture at the temple for many years. I don't know how many years. The Malcolm X drummers and dancers at this time, we're going to hear from them, and we ask you to prepare. And as I was saying on last evening, my dear brother friend Naeem Akbar said that in our genetic memory, in our genetic unconscious resides everything that our ancestors have ever known or done. And when you begin to do what they did, it jogs your genetic memory. And all the things that they did, all the things that they said comes back to us. When we talk about the drum, as I mentioned on last evening, it's not just rhythm, it's a tonal language. And then even though at a conscious level you may not be aware of what those drums are saying, but in your genetic memory you are aware. And what those drums might say to you that you need to get up off that pew and dance tonight. I don't know what they're going to say, but I want to ask you to put your hands together and receive Malcolm X James and drummers at this time, please.
Check.
Hurry up, let's go.
Yep, real quick. Just wanted to, again, practice keeping up with the legacy. I brought my late grandfather's hat before he passed away from lung cancer. And then my other grandfather's birthday is coming up in the end of December, and I have one of his heirlooms, and I'm all about the essence of my ancestors, and it's just, I'm not really gaudy, and I'm not really that flashy in a sense, but I do like to protect certain heirlooms from my family. I still have both of my grandmothers still alive with me now, but both of my grandfathers, I did know them. My younger sibling may not have really got to experience our grandfather before he passed, but I still have memories of my grandfather. And I just, as I venture into my next chapter of my manhood, to be able to just protect these heirlooms, to know where I came from, to know it's just always good. Sankofa in full spirit.
Right. Brothers and sisters, Malcolm X dancers, drummers at this time, put your hands together, receive them, please. family give the Malcolm X drummers and dancers a great, 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 great big hand! Woo! 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 I know y'all feel that energy. Now, brothers and sisters, just before we do our naming ceremony, we want to take a moment and do our offering. As you know, we have expenses every week, every Kwanzaa. I want to ask everyone to stand and get a gift of $5 tonight in support of our Kwanzaa for 2023. I want to say a couple of things. In creation, according to the pyramid texts of ancient Black Egypt, there is the tree of life, which is a schematic of the mind of the Creator in creation. One of the signal aspects of those 12 stages of development of the mind of the Creator was the spoken word, or is the spoken word, which is called the hekau. Everybody say hekau, which means the spoken word, and it's also known as the nomo. And what that means is being made in the image and the likeness of the Creator. We have the power of life and death in our tongues, Proverbs 18:21 through 24. And what that means is that if we speak words out of our mouth and back those words up with faith, the subconscious mind has that inimitable ability to translate into a physical material reality that which we speak out of our mouths. So I want you to make this affirmation. If you get that offering of $5 in your hand as we move toward 2024, I want you to make this affirmation. I want you to say it out of your mouth. Don't doubt in your mind what you're saying out of your mouth, and it will be as you say. Recite these words after me. Success, wealth, health, prosperity will be mine in 2024. Success, wealth, health, and prosperity will be mine in 2024. Amen. Amina. Let us prepare to bring our gifts at this time from the back to the front, if you will. If you bring your gift at this time, please, quickly, let's do this. And then we will enter into our naming ceremony. I got to blow these candles out because they're about to burn down to the bottom. And we'll put some new ones in tomorrow. Bring your offerings at this time, please. Right after we do our offering, we have vendors downstairs, and I want them to introduce themselves and the products that they have so that when we close out, if you will, go down and support the vendors. If you'd like to have a copy of my latest book, The Birth of the Bible, it is available out in the foyer as you go. But right after we finish our offering, we're going to ask these vendors who are on the lower level to share what they have tonight. And I want to encourage you to go downstairs. Jeff Majors has given us some of his CDs of his great work. One of them is Sacred Major Seventh. Another is Holiday Sacred Songs. And another is Sacred Duets. And when you go downstairs and support the vendors, you can get free copies of these. If you got a CD player, you can enjoy some good music from Brother Jeff Majors. Please, my offering, here you go. Here you are, here you are. All right. I'm going to ask our vendors to come at this time, please. And just let everybody know what you got down there. And right at the close, everybody can go down and support our vendors. Do we have a?
Oh, thank you. One Love and Wellness, everybody. Habargani family. Kujichagulia, self-determination. So my name is Precious Mother Love, and my business is Love plus Art equals Wellness. I am an artist and a therapist. I use art as therapy. I make all the jewelry that I'm wearing. But my business is to help you balance your mind, your body, and your spirit. We are electrical beings, electrons, protons, and neutrons, and these electrical conductors that I make and fashion into creations help us to operate better. I don't know if I've shared this with anyone here, but this time last month, November 24th, I actually fell and broke my ankle. You see me up there? No crutch, walking like it happened a year ago or something, right? But that's some of the things that I do. I help individuals to be able to hone their mind, their mental energy, and to be able to right-size their thoughts to realize that we are capable of healing. With that God spark in us, when we decide that we are healed, and it is so, and so be it. Once you decide that for yourself, if you feel determined and you are worth it, and you love yourself to the place where you know that you are divinely made in the image of our Creator, if you know those things, the tools that I have can be combined with your energy to help you focus your energies. I've had arthritis in the past. I no longer have arthritis. These tools, this particular tool, copper, has been used for surgical instruments. 100% copper is now used for surgical instruments. It helps, I no longer have, like I said, arthritis, but it helps your brain synapses, helps you to heal cuts, wounds, bone density stays the same. You will no longer shrink. And I'm passionate about this because you just saw me on the stage with a broken bone a month ago, less than 30 days. So thank you, God. Thank you, God. My gifts and my talents are multiplying, and I appreciate you guys allowing me to share this with you. I hope you'll come and see all of us vendors downstairs and share some of the love and self-determination with us, and we'll exchange our energy with you because we have wonderful offerings. Love plus art equals wellness. Look me up on YouTube and all the social platforms. Love plus art equals wellness. Ashe.
All right, all right.
Who's
Greetings,
next?
excuse me. Greetings, everybody. Again, my name is Derek Johnson. Many people know me as Brother Malcolm. I use my creativity as a means to educate and entertain. I have T-shirts promoting my band, By Any Means Edutainment. I have 2 books. My writings is my healing therapy. I wrote my first book 2 years ago, the second one a year after, and I'm working on my third right now. And like I said, it's all about using creativity to educate and entertain. So like I said, I have books. I have a lot of my poems that are laminated, the books, T-shirts, and come on down and support us. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Avia, in case you don't know me, and I work with my grandfather that runs the business Peace International. I have a couple things to show that we have downstairs in the table, so come check us out. We are the first one that's next to the elevator right there. So my first thing I want to show is this Nag Champa. It's incense you can burn. We also have them in the box downstairs, and this smells really good. It smells really good. I also have charcoal soap. We have other soap that's different smells, like lavender, regular hard soap, and we have oh, I think that's all. But yeah. Oh, I have black seed oil. So black seed oil is one of my favorite smells because it makes it like if it's smelling plain or something, it makes like the room smell very good. I like it. This is lemongrass pomade. This is hair pomade, if you don't know. But it holds down really well. It looks right on your forehead. Amazing. And then lastly, I have rock incense. You can put these on burners and you can burn them. They smell delicious.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bindu Dennis. I am the designer and the owner of Zo African Fashion. So several years ago, I used to travel a lot to different beaches, different areas, and I was in search looking for African print swimsuit, and I couldn't find any of it. So I decided to create my own fashion line. I started 2014 trying to find the right fabric and right print. It was challenging. However, 2021, I was able to come up with my fashion line. For the women, I have over 12 different styles and design that you can pick from. I also have some men matching sets downstairs. I participate in a lot of fashion shows. Unfortunately, when I first started, I was hand making a lot of my swimsuits. However, now I use a manufacturer company, so I do not do custom swimsuits. However, most of the swimsuit runs from small to extra large, and we will be expanding to much larger sizes. We participate in a lot of fashion shows. We're on Instagram, so African Fashion. You see me do DC Fashion Week, Phoenix Fashion Week, and different colleges that I do fashion shows too. Come and check us out. We just not limited to just swimsuits. We have other design. Everything you see here, I created the fabric and everything I picked out myself. Then we have some men's stuff too. We can't forget the men. We have some men's stuff. We have a lot of men's stuff downstairs. And then we have some fashion waist beads here. Some fashion waist beads and also some traditional waist beads as well too. If you need anything, we're downstairs. We have a lot of variety to pick from. If you have any question, you can also follow me on Instagram. You will see all my works and creativity on there. Thank you so much for having me.
How's everybody? Baragane. For those who don't know who I am at the temple, I'm Brother Danny. If you're online, I am Poet Danny Queen. And I started my business probably back in 1995. I have been writing for many years since I was a child. And I'm a poet and a musician and a songwriter as well. And I have 10 books, and not gonna be before you long, but one of my books from 2005 is his, Color Me Poetry. And so it took a lot of work. And then this is one of my books from, I didn't give you the title, I'm sorry. This is Color Me Poetry, and that's 2005. This is a book from a couple years ago, a tribute to my mentor, the late great Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, and it's entitled The Book of Tributes. And I worked on this one for about 3 years. And last but not least, my latest book, in fact, is called Astrological Love Song, Astrological Love Poems, if you will. And it is a collection of astrological love poems, whatever your birthday is, whatever your astrological sign is. I've been studying for 23 years. This book, because a lot of research involved, took 23 years. That's like, I did a lot of research every day, every night for all those years and doing other books in between. So this is my latest book, and it's simply entitled Love in Full Circle, Astrological Love Poems. Come and see me downstairs, and I thank you very much. Be at peace. Come down and get a free reading, y'all. Thank you. Love you.
All right, family, it's time for our naming ceremony. I want to ask when your name is called, you would please stand and come and face me in front of this altar here. Kane Riddick, Jacquel Wren, Brother Johnny Blake, Sister Yolanda Lampkin. Just come right, face me. Yolanda Lampkin, Val Matthews, Atia Artis, Deasia Oliver. When we give names, those names have a significance and meaning. Those names sometimes speak to characteristics, qualities that you already possess. Other times they speak to qualities that we see in you based on what we know and what you have shared with us, that you, in both instances, have to work toward. Anytime you desire or make a decision to change your name in this society, it's going to be a difficult process for people to accept because we've been so conditioned to think and act as others would have us to act and do as they would have us to do. I want to share with you these elements at this time. First, the bitter herb. I want to get everybody, stick your finger in there and taste that bitter herb. As you taste that bitter herb, it's a taste of what you will experience if you dare to tell somebody what your name is. Not the name that was given to you that speaks to your sojourn as an oppressed people, but a name that connects you to your history and your heritage and who you are as a person of African descent. Not only bitter moments, but some hot and fiery moments. This pepper symbolizes the hot and fiery moments you will experience in taking on an African name. In a society where you have been programmed to be as others would have you to be and not as you were created to be, it's going to be some hot and difficult and fiery moments. You taste that? You know what it's going to feel like then. All right, the salt. Now the salt to preserve. In ancient times, salt was used as a preservative to keep things from spoilage. So then, you will not allow the naysayers and the negaholics to deter you in your determination to take on newness of mind and spirit through the taking on of this name. The water. To wash away the bitterness and the hot and fiery experiences that might come your way as a result. Did you get in it? Come a little closer to Asia, I got to get you. All right. Now if you just move down that way, Troy. Put my stool out there in the pad, please. Kane Riddick. Face me. do with what we have. Let me have my oil. In the sacred writings, there are over 105 instances of the use of oil. Olive oil is almost transparent, invisible, thus then to symbolize the spirit. When we understand the spirit in modern quantum physics, they talk about that which our ancestors have known for thousands of years, and that is that everything is of one energy. It took Einstein just over 100 years ago to discover what our ancestors have known for thousands of years, and that is that the Creator is pantheistic and panentheistic. That is, God's Spirit is in everything and is everything. Understanding that that energy is vibrating at different vibratory rates. So a rock looks to be solid, but it too contains the Spirit. If we want to be facetious, the rats, the flies, everything that exists came out of the Creator, because we are told in the ancient writings that has been repeated in the book of Genesis that the earth was void and dark and without life. It was empty. And God put himself into everything that exists. So this olive oil is a symbol of the Spirit, that eternal Spirit, that as you take on this name, this oil is trying to not come out. What's wrong with it? What kind of oil is this? Now it's coming out. The Ankh, the very first cross from which the Christian cross emanates. This cross is a symbol of life. The circle, the symbol of the womb, the phallic symbol, and together making life. In the ancient temples of ancient Black Egypt, individuals the ankh was placed at their nostrils and they were told to breathe in. And in breathing in, it was a symbol of taking in, breathe in that eternal Spirit. Adenike. Adenike. Injana. Adenike. Injana. A compassionate one who is majestic in her service to others. invisible and yet the greatest force and power. Dick Gregory called it the soul force or the God force within. Want you to breathe in. Take into you that life that never ceases to be, the eternal life. Saidi. Saidi. Domi. Saidi. Domi. She is a helper and encourager of others. Brother Johnny Blake. Nothing supersedes. There's a level of reality that's above and beyond the rational, that which we can see and think. This is why Harriet Tubman in the movie that some of you saw would go and talk to the tree because she knew that the spirit was in the tree even as it is in every one of us. Would you stand, please? Thank you. Face the audience. Muata Kokai. Muata Kokai. He is one who seeks history and calls the people to hear. Yolanda Lampkin. Yolanda Lampkin. Mm-hmm. 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 I know who you are. I know exactly who you are. And I'm going to tell everybody who you are right now. I want you to breathe into your nostrils. The eternal life. Breathe in. Breathe in again. You got it now. Would you stand, please? You've been doing this a long time. And now you receive the crown that goes with what you do. Say, huh? Say, huh? Rani. Rani. Tanura. The goddess of dance. Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3. 3 more, huh? We're almost home. You missed it last year. Mm-hmm. 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 I got you, though. Sakai. Najuma. Sakai. Najuma. Happy with laughter, she abounds in joy. Sandra Morgan. She's not here. Atia. In your journey, you have discovered, because you heard the truth, that God is not up in the sky. God is in you. And because you know that, let's hear what does say the Spirit about who you are. Mm-hmm. Anyo Ayan. Anyo Ayan. Because you know who you are, she is enough. Because there is a bright light within. My daughter. The last one. Take your seat. I've been down enough. I ain't getting down no more. Having received several, this is the one. Hadia. Kariamu. Hadia. Kariamu. A gift to us that reflects the Almighty God. Let's stand together, brothers and sisters. This concludes our celebration tonight. Form a quick circle, please, so we can end our meeting for tonight. Tomorrow night, third night of Kwanzaa, Ujima, Dr. Tony Browder, the Egyptologist, will be with us as he talks about the elements of community. And we have a great celebration on tomorrow night. Then Thursday night, following night, rather, Friday night, the reunion of the Union Temple Drill team, man and woman of training, and others that will be sharing with us, including Roz Lid Gogo. Let us join hands together. Can we close in the circle, please? Everybody knows the song we're going to sing. We can make it together if we try, and then we're going to raise our hands 7 times and shout out the words Harambe, which means let's pull together in 2024. what a need it is among all of us. Let's sing together. We can make it together if we try. If we try, we can make it together. We can make it together if we try. If we try, with love in your heart, with love in your, from the very start, the very first, let every man be your brother, and your sister too, and everything will work out right together. We can make it together. We can make it together if we try. If we try, we can make it together. We can make it together if we try. If we try, with love in your heart, with love in your, from the very start, the very first, let every man be your brother, and your sister too, and everything will work out right together. We're going to raise our hands 7 times and shout the word Harambe, which means let's pull together at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Harambe! 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 Blessings. See you tomorrow night. Go down and support the vendors if you please. Got some food down there too. Peace.